All right, it is officially 8:15. I'd like to call the February 4th, 2025 bid board meeting. Let's see.
To order.
To order, yes, thank you. Roll call, we have an acknowledgement of the quorum. We will start with the approval of the minutes of the November meeting. We have not met since then. So if there's any, if we could have a motion.
Motion to approve the
Second.
minutes from-
Thank you. There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passed. Starting with the agenda. Carissa, if you want to start us off with the financial report, please.
Sure. So I have both the end of year and, of course, January since the 31st when I pulled it. But you can kind of see where we ended 2020. It's actually supposed to say 2024. Sorry about that. The year, as well as reviewing where we're at. We currently obviously haven't spent anything in 2025, which makes it pretty nice and clean. But we do have the note that the $48,820 is still pending for the downtown speakers for the Main Street construction project.
Motion to approve.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the financial report, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion accepted. All right, okay. Mark, we're going to talk all about you today.
Oh, well, hopefully, I see other items on the agenda, so it won't all be the March show.
We would like to thank you for your service. We're very sad that you're leaving. When is the official date?
It will be April 15th.
Tax day.
Tax day, yes,
Okay.
unless you file for an extension.
Can we file for an extension with your service here?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Won't
Okay.
get much credit for it.
Okay. And how long have you served on the board?
I've been on the board 5 years.
5 years. Wow. Wow. We certainly thank you for your dedication and your commitment to this board and to the city. So thank you very much for everything that you've done.
Well, thank you.
And your health is good?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I get out and I exercise every day and I eat well and, well, I don't eat well. I eat healthy.
Okay.
But, yeah, I'm happy with my health and it seems to be getting better every day still. So I've had, like months of constant improvements,
Okay. Well, that's awesome.
so.
Again, thank you. So Carissa, how does the replacement for Mark work? It would be whoever gets, like, the District 2 Alderman spot, right? They're automatically on the board?
No,
No?
no, the mayor will
The mayor will appoint?
appoint an alderman to serve on the board.
Oh, so it doesn't matter what district, it could be any alderman?
Correct.
Okay.
I replaced the District 7 alderman, Justice
right?
Mattel.
Oh, yeah, okay.
but, you know, that happened after I'd been on council for a year.
Okay. Okay.
I've made the recommendation that it be the District 2 alderman because they have a vested interest, but it's
Still up to the
entirely
mayor.
up to the mayor, and the council then would have the ability to question that.
Okay.
So it's an advise and consent type situation.
Okay, awesome. Does anyone on the board have any questions or comments for Mark?
Just a thank you.
Yeah, big thank you, Mark. Great working with you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been very enjoyable working with the bid board and seeing all the changes to downtown. I think they've been very positive.
Yep. I
Look
would
forward to seeing lots more in the future.
Awesome. Well, thank you. 3, it's hard to believe that the holiday is finally over. And what a great one we had in downtown West Bend. Carissa, if you just want to kind of do a final review on all that?
Yeah, so this year was a little different with us using Blingle. So we had a few hiccups in the beginning to figure out how to set up the tree, that learning curve. And then we had a little bit of some not the greatest weather. But at the end of the day, I was really thankful for Blingle. Every time we had a hiccup, they were out there They checked on the tree pretty much every day that they could. We kind of worked through that, and then moving forward, it was great weather and great lights on the rest of the time.
And I saw that they took it down very efficiently as well. So as far as the city's feelings on using Blingle, they're good with it? So we'll
I-
probably use them in the future?
I would recommend using them again. They were great to work with. Every time I reached out, they replied right away. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Anybody else have any comments on the holiday stuff?
Family always enjoys it.
Yeah.
So thank you. I know a lot of people come in from out of town too as well that visit. So it's a great representation of our town. So thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Krista. Okay, then the 2025 Shady Lane Greenhouses Incorporated contract. I believe John is here to speak a little bit on that.
So we've had kind of various things kind of going back and forth. So Carissa put it on the agenda, but I wanted to give you a brief update of sort of the discussions that are happening in the background with staff and others. So as you know, last year was the first year for the pots and the bid sponsors the hanging baskets. So where we are right now, and we have had this communication with the private sector group, and they're on board with this plan, is taking kind of a step back in the next couple of weeks, evaluating, well, actually what we've been doing is evaluating the whole program. And I think staff's recommendation is that we actually develop a list of the plantings that are needed for the next year. So there's a desire to have some of the pots remain as perennials and the trees, and then there will other pots be seasonal changing plants. So that would be annuals in the summer, mums in the fall, and then the greens that you saw during the holiday time period. And so taking a step back and looking at that as a whole program over the whole year, rather than just sort of having to react different times through the year and figuring out how to do it from that perspective. So the Parks Department and Chris and I, we've talked about coming up with a maintenance list so we could actually go out to whether it's Scott's or whomever and say, these are all of the things we need: watering, the fertilization, all of these things for the baskets for these types of plants. So we have a big full picture rather than kind of throughout the year piecemealing it. So everybody has a big picture. Same thing, come up with a list of what all the plants will be. Rick in Parks has come up with a plant list of to let the hanging baskets be a little bit more full. We have different climate issues downtown in terms of shade and full sun. So his thought was we can actually create like a series of 3 different pots. The hanging baskets, they would look all similar, but you would have more shady plants in the shady areas, and so they'd all kind of work well together. So we've talked to the private sector group. They were on board with that concept, and so we're gonna in the next couple weeks put all that together. So what I had talked to Carissa yesterday about was there might be an opportunity to get better pricing if we go out and try to bid lots of these things all at once rather than these plants and those plants and that kind of thing. So I was suggesting to her that you guys might approve the dollar amount today, but maybe not approve the contract with Shady Lane from that perspective, because you might be able to get a better price if we group things together, at least in theory. That was a lot, sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just not sure how we feel as a board about approving an amount without knowing who it is. I'm open for comments on that. Anyone?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd prefer to see who we're going with and doing it that way rather than the dollar amount. Also, my question, I guess, is this dollar amount, is that coming through our budget? Because looks like we have a 40,000 budget for landscaping. Is that all included in there?
So my understanding, and Carissa can correct me if I'm wrong, I think you typically have a $40,000 budget, and out of that 40, I believe 6,000 is spent for cleaning or for the weeds on the sidewalks, and then there's a certain amount that you have given over the time to roots and branches. I think last year it was 700, if I'm remembering off the top of my head. And then for the hanging baskets, there was there's the dollar amount for the plants for the hanging baskets, because I think last year there were. We don't need new baskets. You just need the plants. You don't actually need the infrastructure. So there was that dollar amount, and then that would leave you with, as you subtract those three things, that would leave you with another dollar amount in there for watering or other additional plants. That perspective, but what staff is anticipating is there's gonna be a portion of funding from the bid, some from the city, and we're discussing other alternatives of how to fund the rest of it, because we've started to total what the entire program cost would look like, and it will be more than your 40, and
Okay.
you know, we have last year's numbers, which were higher than people expected, probably.
Yeah, well, yeah, I figured that would be, yeah, no, that's fine. I think it would be good to get a whole picture of it before we decide to make a decision on what we're gonna do, but,
Yeah, because we still have that whole issue of the watering
Right.
stuff and all of that, and I think that it should be discussed before we commit to anything on the, on that item for the budget. Larry, anything too?
Well, I think it's wise to do what you're talking about as far as the shady plants and the, you know,
Definitely.
those plants that are in direct sunshine all day long. So I think that's a good way to attack this. It'd be just nice to have some numbers that were a little
Yep,
easier to look at.
we're in process of trying to put that together.
I noticed that the proposal seems to be geared towards starting the entire basket in a greenhouse, and so it'll come out already started from a greenhouse and move up and get on. Is that the reason that we need to get this started now? In other words, we need a certain amount of time, and if so, sort of when is the drop dead on this?
Probably in the next few weeks, yes. Shady Lane, and I believe Bemis, who we've purchased from before, they typically will start to put those plants, whether they're growing them in the actual container or they're growing them in, you know, the small little individual things, they usually are planting right around the first to mid of February for them to be to a certain size come spring. So, yeah.
They more or less want to know what they're planting for us.
Okay,
So we
so,
would actually, the concept that Rick would have for the hanging baskets, he would, you know, have the 3 pots, he knows which areas are shady versus sunny, and that list would be given to the grower, that these are so many begonias, so many petunias, et cetera.
so John, then by, say, next month, you would be able to come to us with a number as to what is the bids portion versus the private sector versus the city, right? Because that's what we would need to determine as to, from us, how much we can afford to put in versus all of the other landscaping stuff.
Yeah, I would hope we would be able to sort through this in the next 2
Okay.
weeks. Yeah.
Okay, great.
It seems as though this is still time critical before we meet again. And I would move that we authorize an expenditure not to exceed $3,200. And the president and the director of the bid can go ahead and make, you know, pull the trigger on that without another meeting.
Thoughts?
I need a second before we can discuss it.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Thoughts?
You know, I'm fine if you authorize, like Peggy, like when she sees it, feel good about it. That's fine.
I trust your judgment.
Thank you, Larry. Jane?
I guess I would really prefer to see a full picture. I'm not familiar with how this all works. Last year I wasn't here at this time, so I'm not 100%, what's all included in that budget. I understand what you're saying and some of that, but I guess if that's what the board wants to do, well, I mean,
Nope, I mean, it was just a motion and a second,
I
so.
don't like to, put stuff out there without really understanding and knowing what I'm doing, so that would be my opinion.
Yeah, the reason that I made the motion was this one part of the whole plan does appear to be somewhat time critical.
Yeah.
If we want to have successful plants at the right level of maturity to survive when they actually go up on poles and so on, they need to get that started ahead of time. And that date when they need to start seems to be prior to our next meeting. So even if we were to have a full-blown plan at the next meeting, it's not, we're already going to be 2 weeks behind the curve on getting these started, so.
Plus, the $3,200 would naturally, whether it's with this company or the prior company, we would still be doing that. But I completely agree that I don't want to make a final decision beyond that amount, because we would commit to that anyway. So it's just whether or not we have to do that sooner than our next meeting to get the plants growing. So I'm comfortable with that, but beyond that, with everything with landscaping, we need to discuss that, where is our money going to go?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. There's been a motion and a second to approve up to $3,200 if the decision has to be made prior to our next meeting. All those in favor say aye.
All right,
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Okay, if we could go on to some reports. We have the Bid Strategic Plan Committee. Larry, if you'd like to talk on that phrase, please.
All right. At the beginning of January, a survey went out to the building owners and business owners, and the deadline on that, it should have been returned, or will be returned by the 15th of February. So what we'd like to do is when those results come in, send an email to everybody on the board as far as what they were, after Carissa gets a chance to kind of disseminate that information and give us, the final results on that poll or that survey. And we'd like to get the committee together sometime, hopefully before the next bid meeting, so we can have a discussion on where we'd like to go with these, short-term, long-term, if we have money for them, if we're going to partner with somebody, how we're going to roll this into the future. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Chris, do you have any idea as to what the response has been so far?
Yep, so we have 21 property owners that have filled it out and 17 business owners.
That have replied
Yeah, so a total of 38.
out of,
There's about 100.
okay. Is typically for surveys, I'm not familiar with them. Is that a good number? That doesn't sound that great to me, so I'm just wondering.
So we're only about halfway through, so we
Okay.
still have a little less than 15 days left. But I do plan on sending a few more emails, and that's why I was going to do a quick push that if you know anyone, please remind them to take the survey.
Okay. Okay. Has everyone here done their surveys?
Yes, Mom.
Thank you. Awesome. All right, cool. Well, I'm really excited to see the results, because I think it's going to be fantastic that at least we've tried to engage with the community to find out what their wants, wishes, and desires are, and that's always a good start. Great, thank you. Okay, then we have the Bid Facade Grant Committee. Mark?
we have five submissions totaling 6 projects. One person submitted basically 2 project submissions. So we have half a dozen that we'll be dealing with. I believe we meet next week, Tuesday. So another Tuesday, I have to get up early. The retirement's looking real good. So at any rate, I'm excited. This has been a great plan. Typically, people that put in these surveys generally, or these requests for funding, they do, move forward and do the projects. We've had people that put in requests, lost out to other, other projects, and the work still occurred. So
Great.
it's been a great progress. You see a lot of progress driving out veterans. Looking across into the city, the backs of buildings are starting to look better and better, so.
Mark, are these grants predicated on maintenance, or are they just given out? I mean, we had talked at one time about, putting some kind of a, addendum in there that they have to maintain them in a certain way or for a certain period of time.
We talked about that, and the decision was that people will see the benefit and maintain them. The people that have done work in the backs of their stores or in the fronts of their
Yeah, it's-
stores have maintained them. So I don't think, again, I don't think that we need to specifically put that in there.
Okay.
But we can discuss that at the Facade Grant Committee
Yeah.
meeting. So that'll be next week, Tuesday, and it's fun always. Visitors are welcome, so unless we get too many, and then we'll overrun the room, but no, it's been very positive.
Thanks for doing that.
It's been an honor.
It's hard to maintain the spider webs. I look up there and I never knew that West Bend had so many spiders, but they do.
Just
They're
your building.
everywhere.
Just your building.
When you're walking on the river, on the, the river edge, and there's like, you look up and there's just like spider
those
webs.
lights, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So,
I get a lot of complaints about you can't even touch all the new things that were made, all the sightings.
and the railings.
The railings,
Like they're
it's
all
like-
over the railings.
Scary movie. Like, who is in charge of keeping that clean?
I am not Spider Woman, so I do not know who is in charge of the spiders, but maybe we could try to find out.
It's something I think.
I don't know how
actually
you even get rid of them. I just use a broom,
Broom?
but yeah, but that's my building,
They
so.
come along with the broom every week. But concern, people bring that up as a concern.
Yes, I would agree, they do. Under the bridge, going under the bridge, there's like gigantic
And
spider
all
webs.
the railings, you
Yeah.
can't even lean up to the railing to like hold on to it to look at the river because you'll
There's
be
spider webs.
attacked.
Okay, Carissa, I would like you to find out who's in charge of spiders, okay? Thank you.
You'll be reporting back to us.
Yes, obviously a priority, okay? All right, then we have, I don't see Noelle this morning. She must not have been able to make it, but otherwise, is there anyone else here from the Downtown Association? I don't think so, or are you doing both? Doing both. Oh, Leona, thank you for coming. Of course, we all know Leona from the Bend. What's going on?
All right, Noelle's sorry she can't be here. She's got a sick kiddo at home. So I'll be doing the report for both Downtown West Bend Association and the Bend, especially since there's so much collaboration going on between the two. So I'm going to start with Downtown West Bend Association. Noelle wanted to report that the recent Chinese New Year celebration hosted by Pearl of Canton went very well. It was received very well by the public. Chocolate Around the Bend is this weekend, shopping event for all of Sorry, it's on my phone, so it keeps going out. I apologize. Shopping event for all, but this year attendees with a VIP pass will get access to a unique gourmet chocolate at 19 different shops, 10 bars and restaurants. They're all offering themed chocolate drinks as well and desserts. Spring Bling is on Saturday, April 5th. Spring Wine Walk will be on April 12th, Saturday, April 12th. Art Walk banner event will be back. The Grand Gallery Open event is at MOA on Saturday, May 3rd. Businesses and individuals can sponsor a banner that will be hung downtown, $100 per banner. Farmers Market will start on May 17th. And Global Fest will be in June 28th and 29th. I am going to then go into the collaboration. On May 29th, the first block party will occur to kick off the Music on Main series, and that's the block party that is collaboration between Downtown West Bend Association and the Bend. We are also ending the Music on Main with the other block party on September 5th. And we want to thank all our sponsors for helping us do that. We've got the city, Forte Bank, Westbury Bank, Milwaukee Tool, PharmaCal, and Hanson and Company. So we've got, and there's more to come, but we want to thank those sponsors that are helping us achieve that second year of the block party, hoping we can make it an annual thing. As far as one of the other collaborative things was, and I didn't start with this, but I'm going to put it in here, is winter warm-up. We also want to thank all our sponsors for helping us with winter warm-up, despite the warm weather that didn't allow some of the sculptures or the ice sculptures to last. We still had a lot of traffic. For example, the Bend had 532 individuals come in on Saturday for our 2 free movies sponsored by Time Investments. Thank you very much. That we are able to do Ice Age 1 on the first day on Saturday, and very appropriately, Ice Age The Meltdown on Sunday. So those kinds of things, we are so appreciative that we have so much support from the community. As far as the Bend is concerned, we have a lot going on. We had a very busy December, actually October, November, December, and January. We kicked off January with sold-out events. It has been just a thrill to be part of the organization for a number of years as a volunteer, and now as part of the staff as executive director. We do this weekend have Kettle Moraine Symphony Orchestra playing at the theater, so we're really looking forward to that collaboration. For Valentine's Day, we have 4 Guys in Dinner Jackets that we is both for Valentine's Day, Friday and Saturday, and we are teaming up with some of the restaurants. Riverside, for example, is providing a dinner and show package, and the Antidote and the Ark will be looking at doing the same thing for Valentine's Day. We have a lot of other things. We have comedy, of course, Ian Bagg. Ian Bagg is selling out fast, and that is two days on February 22nd, or 2 events, I should say, on February 22nd at 7 o'clock and at 9:30, because we have so much attention for that one. So I want to encourage everybody, if you want to go, to get tickets as soon as possible. We have a lot of fun things like Whole Yada Love on February 28th. Another low ticket alerts, Southbound. It is a tribute to Pink Floyd on March 1st. For St. Patty's Day, we have Classic Blast and Kilts on March 7th. And then for Women's History Month, we have during March 14th, Respect, a tribute to Aretha Franklin. Oh my gosh, there's so much. I'm not going to report it all. The Kettle Moraine Blues Fest is another one that I want to encourage everybody to look into on March 28th and 29th. That's going to be a busy weekend. And then throughout the summer, we have things like the Chicago Tribute Band coming back. We have new things coming up, like a one-man off-Broadway show. He is an individual that is coming here. It's called Jack Tucker Off-Broadway on April 11th. And that's going to be a very interesting one because it's kind of a comedy, but it's also a, again, off-Broadway show. It's about an individual who he's playing a part where he comes to this country and all he knows is slapstick comedy. He's watched things that are very slapstick, kind of like a Three Stooges kind of atmosphere. And so that's the kind of comedy he does, and he does very unique things that I think the audience is going to have a lot of fun with. So just want to keep everybody in tune for those things. I do want to also let you know in May we will be having some special events. Steely Dane and Kevin Farley will be coming in. Both of those are sponsored by the West Bend Community Foundation. So we really want to thank all of our sponsors for helping us do what we can do for the community as a nonprofit. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Leona.
So, Leona, you mentioned that during winter warm-up, it warmed up.
Yes.
You weren't worried about the fact that you kind of taunted Mother Nature and called the event winter warm-up, and now you're saying that one thing that went wrong was it warmed up?
I'll have to talk to Noelle about that one. I didn't come up with the name.
You'd be keeping a winter freeze.
Very good point.
All right. Awesome. Thanks again, Leona. Okay. Is there any specific agenda items for next meeting?
Spiders.
Spiders? Yes.
I want a spider report.
Okay. So do I.
Maybe a spider census.
Yep, okay, and we will have the results for, a little bit better results for the strategic planning, so we'll put that on there. And
We'll
then,
also have the results.
the
Facade
results.
grant.
Yep, and the results from the facade grant. And then also more information on the landscaping budget. But spiders were number one. Okay. All right, other than that, I think we're good. We can ready to adjourn. All those in favor, say aye.
All right.
Approved. All right, have a good month, everyone.